Now, I think this is also something that too few project managers understand, in the perspective of extreme ownership. I want to kind of tie into that again. Is their responsibility to get outside of their comfort zone and go to toe to toe with the level above them, right?
Yes.
You want to share your feelings and thoughts about that?
That
you're smiling. You know what I'm talking about.
That's one of the more difficult things that you have to do in an organization. Is everybody in an organization answers to somebody above them, with few exceptions. And that certainly is the case in the military. And sometimes you're given a military mission that, based on your local and historical perspective and local knowledge, that it's does not make sense, and is going to get guys hurt or killed. And that the responsibility is on that leader's shoulders to make sure and educate the senior leader that's asking them to do something that might not make sense. And there's ways to do that, and there's definitely ways to not do that.
Any pieces of advice you'd like to share with us? Let us look into your magic box. You can put it in context of a story, maybe, if you want. Like, think of a situation where you had to go toe to toe with somebody with stars on their shoulders.
I remember
one thing you learned, really, because you work your way up. I think one advantage that you have, and I think this is also a lesson learned for a project manager, you really worked your way. Although you were an officer, you worked your way through the ranks, and you had that bond to those soldiers. And I think ultimately, if you have a commanding role, I think the number one burden that you carry on your shoulders is the ethical, moral, and also life responsibility that you have to look out for your team members. I think that must be an unfathomable point of pressure. And of course, it's a political game, like in every organization. But going toe to toe with difficult decisions and maybe and giving pushback is part of your responsibility. Can you think of a particular situation without disclosing anything that you shouldn't disclose?
Yeah, without devolving too much, I'll just say there was this one thing we had to do in Afghanistan, and when we were wargaming the solution to what had to be done, one of the things we came up with 2 or 3 times was the vehicle and the personnel we were going to help. We might have to destroy that vehicle to get everyone out safely. We had the ability to kind of tow that vehicle out of there, but and we had some smart guys on our team, and they're like, hey, we might not be able to get that thing to move. And if that's the case, we should just BIP it, blow it in place. And I said, okay, well, that's part of our mission planning. So when I go and I brief what we're doing that night, and the guy on the other side of the VTC, the video teleconference, and he's an Army colonel, and he's like, no, you're not doing that. And I'm like, well, we might have to. He's like, no, you're not leaving that there. You're not going to you're not going to destroy, there was the value, there was the crypto, the radios, you're not going to destroy that. You're going to get it out of there. And I said, sir, we might not be able to do that. And if that's the case, my recommendation is we blow it in place, take the crypto off, and it'll be useless to anybody. And then that quickly turned to a 1-star getting on the VTC. And it was interesting because in my I don't want to say blinders, but my perspective was, my goal was to go help these guys. We were going to use half of our team to go help them. It was turned into kind of a big thing. And we were going to use half of our guys to go get them and help them. And we might have to destroy it was called a RG-33. It's a mine resistance, ambush protected, big vehicle for moving people around the battlefield. Protect them from IEDs. And
those new jacked up vehicles that I saw.
Yeah. And it has this V bottom.
It looks like a monster.
So
yeah.
If you did get hit an ID,
diverts the blast.
It would diffuse a lot of the blast. I mean, you still could really get jacked up if it was a big enough blast, but it really helped a lot. I mean, the design saved so many lives.
Yeah, because those Hummers weren't doing the job. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're so damn expensive.
Yeah.
They're so damn expensive. So anyway, we kind of the way we left it was the commander was not budging on this. And I said, yes, sir, got it, and hung up. And I had to sit there, and this gets into the senior leader, dilemmas that you're dealing with when you're leading organizations. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Let's really sit back and think about this. It's a thing. It's a vehicle. And we're going to have 60. We're going to have 60 kids. Personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have 60 personnel, and there's 8 people on the ground. So we're going to have almost 70 personnel that are my responsibility. Yeah. And, I had to make a call, and I told Tim, and I told the guy, go ahead and prep the charges. We're bringing the charges with us. And, that word quickly made it back to leadership. And in no uncertain terms, I was told that I would be reporting in for, after the mission was over. As it turns out, we were able to get the vehicle out of there. We didn't have to blow it in place, but you have
to have the fortitude and the foresight to say, I know where my priorities are. I mean, this is what we talked about this a little bit, but the concept of principle-based leadership, right? Yes, expensive materials, and you don't want to be, you don't want to blow things up just for the sake of blowing them up. But if you're going to sacrifice lives, you have to have the fortitude. You have to be able to have the backbone to give pushback. And I think private industry or military, that applies in both cases.
Yeah, and it's hard to make that direct parallel to business, and that's why I hesitate.
Well, it's different. It's different consequences.
It's very, very, very different. But every project team is dealing with bottom line and dollar and cost overruns and everything that you were talking about at the beginning. And you got to make hard decisions sometimes for the best of the organization and the best of the project team. You got to take care of your guys, because sometimes the organization and I haven't done your job, Mark, so I don't know, but I would imagine
easier than yours.
Organizations, sometimes they're asking for near the impossible. And at some point you got to take a step back and take care of your people.
Yeah. You got to stand for something or you fall for anything. Yeah.